Hey, howdy friends. Hope y'all having a great week. Sorry for the late email and not a video last week. So I want to catch up today. We're going to talk about two lessons that you can cover this week and next week. So the first one after our last session in person is we're going to be discussing as a child's vocation. And this matches really well because this coming Sunday at Mass will be Called by Name Sunday, where the diocese kind of has an initiative put forward to just talk about vocation to the priesthood, to religious life in particular, and to encourage people to make that a normal part of their conversations right along with the married state. So throughout this week, you can have those conversations with your kids about being a priest, being a religious sister, being consecrated in that way. Can be the same path. Can be talked about in the same bout that we do talk about marriage. So this week's lessons will be on the child's vocation, and you're getting the parent information backgrounds here, and the lesson will begin down here. And the focus of this lesson is on what all of our first vocations are, which is to be holy, to become a saint. And it kind of takes after the call from the Second Vatican Council, which is known as the universal call to holiness, that everyone is called to be a saint. No matter where you live, what time period you're in, we're all called to be holy. So the lesson kind of begins here. And it'll discuss some different activities and things you can do to help you grow in holiness. I think this is a really neat activity. It's almost like a race over here, where the kiddos will call out a scripture verse, and the kiddos will have to look it up, and then the first one to find it can read it. So it's just an opportunity for children to get used to using their Bible, locating books in the Old and New Testament, and how to read them. So as you progress through, you can see all your activities you go through. I'd encourage you to read them with your kiddos. And eventually you're going to come to this page right here, which is growing in holiness. When you get to this one, you will utilize your green page here. And the basic concept of this activity is for the kids to each prayerfully consider something that they can commit to grow in holiness. Maybe it is saying an extra prayer in the morning or at night, doing an act of kindness to their brothers or sisters, maybe helping mom and dad around the house, but something that can help them grow in virtue and grow in holiness. And then as each day of the month moving forward, maybe into our next lesson or however you want to do it, they would mark off if they did it. So you can do this with your kiddos, but just a tangible way for them to see to grow in holiness. So I think this is a really great lesson to talk about our call to holiness, but also you can use this to tie in our bigger vocations, even though the kids are young, but you can talk about it as long as you make it a normal part of our conversations, that you could be called to priesthood or you could be called to religious life along with being called to the married state. The next lesson that we're going to do is a little different than this one. This one maybe when you first read it may look a little unfamiliar to you, and that is on Eastern Catholic rites. And the idea behind this one is to show the Catholicity and the universality of our church. So it'll be going, doing, discussing the other rituals that are in full communion with the Catholic Church. So these churches may look a little different and their liturgies may seem a little different, but they are in complete union with the church. This is different than you would think of the Eastern Orthodox churches. Those are different, and there's more of an issue there, but this is those Catholic churches who are in full communion with the church. So as you break it open, you'll begin discussing these guys. Here, again, the parent information, and you can begin here. A lot of this section will be an opportunity for you to read along with your kiddos and talk about all the way that these rites are. But basically, this is a great explanation. The rite is the ritual in which we celebrate Mass and the sacraments. Most people who are Catholics follow the Roman rite, and about 98% of us are familiar with the Roman way of doing the sacraments. But there are some other Eastern rites that exist that are, again, in full communion with the Church. So you can read through this lesson with their kids, and it's a great way that you can talk about the universality of the Church, that everybody is called to be a part of the Catholic Church, no matter which part of the country you live, the world you live in, which is a great lesson to understand, because that's what the word Catholic means. It means universal. The activity for this one is you'll have be able to design some of these cool eggs, and I'm sure the kiddos will enjoy the craft activity here, which is just taken from one of the Eastern rites in a way that they celebrate. So you can utilize the eggs, and the information here will tell you how to do that activity. So I hope you want to continue to affirm you. Thank you so much for forming your children, helping all of them become saints. As parents, that's our duty, and it's been a blessing so far this year. Thank you to everyone who came out to our last in-person session. Adoration was a great experience, and I've had a lot of positive feedback about worshiping the Lord with your kiddos together. Thanks and God bless. If you need anything, don't hesitate to ask.